These Gen Z kids are like super inspirational. Our parents were very like, keep the peace. We were kind of like knocking the door and trying to kick it down.
Yes.
These guys are like full on like,
and they mess
got
with
the
the door.
Tuareg and like
What door?
ran the door out.
Man, oh man. One of those people I'm super honored to meet.
You're honored to meet, my guy. It's been a pleasure.
Nadir Nahdi, assalamu alaikum.
Salam, icon living.
How you doing?
Good, bro, chilling. Alhamdulillah, just like ushering in the goodness of the month slowly.
Yeah. But still, off the top, I want to say thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for everything you stand for.
Thank you, that means a lot to me.
Your content, the way you think, the way you tell a story is, I think, very important, especially for the longest period of time. Our story's been told for us, not by us.
100%.
And to have somebody like you with your intellectuality, if that's the word.
That's very kind of you.
Words are flowing because you're there. I'm just saying.
No, I appreciate you. That means a lot to me from you, man.
We're right here with Volkswagen, and I want to talk to you about the future.
Sure.
And this whole thing that is under the anticipatory anxiety.
Oof.
I got that right?
Yeah, you got through that word. I felt you stumble for a second.
I know.
You nailed it. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. So what is anticipatory anxiety for anyone listening?
I think it means different things with regards to what people might be feeling anxiety for. It could be the climate and how we feel about a degrading climate, which is increasingly affecting the way that we live on a day-to-day basis. But there's also like technological anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us are like, been growing up watching like stuff like Terminator and Star Trek, and this it's ingrained in us, this fear of the AI robot coming to get us. And now AI is becoming part of our day-to-day lives more and more every day. So that reality is like playing out now. We're kind of feeling fearful towards it. But no matter what it is, whether it's climate, technology, I think actually the crux of anxiety is ultimately ambiguity and like the unknown, right?
So it is all under, because there's no difference between anticipatory and the general anxiety. It's under.
Yeah,
still.
it's like fearful of an unknown future. So we're anticipating something bad happening, and we're kind of crippled in our fear of that. And what happens is that when we're so lumbered down by that anxiety, it can cause us to make terrible decisions in the present and not see clearly in the present.
How do we, if someone is watching right now and they're confused, how do we deal with that?
It's a great question. Like, I to be honest with you, I don't have an answer, but like I have like ways of like how I try to kind of navigate that is, I mean, in the management consultancy world, they have this premise of like, there's a big problem.
Yeah.
And usually when you look at a big problem, you feel like I'm throwing a pebble onto a mountain.
Correct.
And that can feel quite alienating, but a good thing to do is to break a big problem into smaller ones. And
Break a big problem into small ones. Cool.
yeah, and then you start like nipping away at the smaller issues, creating like day-to-day targets and which are achievable for you. And slowly you start chipping away at that mountain. And over a course of time, you look down and you realize how far you've climbed.
That being said, how realistic is that? Like that approach?
Tough. Like, you know more than anyone over the last couple of years, we've been facing some really big things as humanity collectively.
Facts.
And a lot of like the anxiety is like feeling like the system that we live in is making us feel a lot more isolated and alone on a day-to-day basis. Like, we live in flats now. So we're totally alienated from a sense of neighborhood and community. We are living in these hyper cities that kind of doesn't facilitate you having a random serendipitous moment to talk to anyone, create nurturing relationships with people around you. So as we become more isolated and alone, the world's problems start to feel bigger and bigger. But really, I like to think, a big part of how I was raised, it was raised in community. Like I was raised in the Majlis. And in my house, it was like a circus. You had people coming in and out of the house constantly.
Bliss.
And that sense of community is dying out. It's becoming a rare thing. But what that does is root you in a sense of we are collectively responsible for whatever future we're trying to build together. And if you're embedded in that community, then the world's problems feel a lot smaller than they would have been alone.
How do you deal with people who are telling you to slow down, for example?
Which is like a daily occurrence in my life, for sure.
Really?
My mom always says to me, you're burning the candle at both ends, which has been like a lifetime like quote for me.
Bless.
How do I feel about it? I feel like... like
how do you tackle that?
I don't know, part of me is kind of like, chill, I got this. Mainly being because like the speed at which I operate also benefits me so much. Like I have to say, alhamdulillah, like I live a great life full of amazing people, amazing conversations, and it feels fulfilled and it feels nourished and that's a result of the tempo in which I'm operating. Is it sustainable? Maybe not. So I struggle with it because I do know there's a need for it, but I'm also enjoying.
It's very interesting.
The ride.
Very interesting you say that, because we were talking about the future and the vagueness of the future, right? And also at one point, there's this big pressure on this generation to fix before it's too late. What do you tell this generation who has this, who seems to have all these problems kind of pushed to them? Oh, you know, you guys are the future, you got to fix this or else we're not going to have a future. The mentality, what's the sort of dialogue?
Well, like these Gen Z kids are like super inspirational. Like,
I agree.
I feel like there's so much energy and verve like to solve some of the things that we probably took for granted.
And they don't take no. Like everything is possible.
Our parents were very like, keep the peace. We were kind of like knocking the door and trying to kick it down.
Yes.
These guys are like full on like,
and they mess
got
with
the
the door.
Tuareg and like
What door?
ran the door out. So I think I really appreciate that energy. I think each generation brings its own kind of method to the world's problems. But I think we'll need a balance of the wisdom of generations before and the energy of the generation today. And I think that's how we'll get things done.
Bless, bro. It's crazy, obviously, here. A
Bro,
bit
can I just
chilly.
say?
Yeah.
This is pretty romantic, bro.
It is romantic.
This is the most romance I've had in a very long time.
No, bless. I think for me personally, it's conversations like this that needs to be obviously discussed. Like you said, vocalized.
100%.
Don't feel shy about it. What's one thing you could leave the people, the audience with? Like, you know, a statement about the fear of the unknown.
What I would say is a lot of fear is rooted in the unknown and the ambiguity. I think you could look at it and be really negative about all of these questions, but you can also seize the opportunity to step into the light and the challenge of really reflecting what humanity is about.
That
So
is
like,
drop the mic.
reframe the perspective.
Nadir.
You're the king of the mic, so if it's
Thank
your
you,
mic,
oh my man. Thank you, my brother, so much. Honored, blessed Ramadan to you and the
You too,
family.
my brother. All the
May
best,
Allah
Ramadan
reward
Kareem.
you and again give you the
Ameen,
strength
ameen,
really
ameen.
to continue, tell our stories,
Inshallah.
and give you more power because
Ameen,
you're
bro.
really elevating us all, man.
Habibi
Seriously.
Qalbi, thank you so much, bro. Allah yakhlik.
Peace out, man.
My guy.
Volkswagen.